Hello, I'm recording this on the 11th of May of 2025 from my studio in Brighton, UK. My name is Kate O'Keefe. I'm half Portuguese, half Irish, and I grew up in Quarteira, a small fishing town in the south of Portugal. Think sun, sea, sardines, and absolutely no art scene whatsoever. There weren't any galleries, no museums, but there was graffiti and the chalk drawings on the pavement that me and the other neighbourhood kids used to do. That was about the extent of my exposure to art as a kid. I was mostly raised with my Irish grandmother, and honestly, she was the first real creative influence. We'd sit for hours cutting out little paper stick figures, drawing silly characters, and playing board games. My great-grandmother, her mum, used to visit from Ireland, and one of my earliest memories is sitting on her lap while she sketched the flowers off the kitchen tiles with a biro. And that to me was absolute magic. As a kid, I wasn't shy. I was just elsewhere, always off in my own world. School was tough, not because I wasn't trying, but because unless it was something to do with colors, textures, or imagination, my brain just noped out. Maths, not a clue. Chemistry, please. But give me a bit of scrap paper and something to draw with, and you can't drag me away. My first connection to visual art came from, well, not very artsy places. I used to rip out pages from my mom's magazines, especially the weird high fashion spreads with models wearing wild outfits, and I collected them like Pokemon cards. And then there was the graffiti in town. It was tags everywhere. I'd stare at the bubble letters, the colours, and the way they intertwined and shimmered in metallic paint. I didn't realize it then, but I was already studying line, form, and movement. I was around 14 when I first encountered fine art properly. My secondary school art teacher handed me a book, and in it was a painting of Francis Bacon, one of his dark, unsettling self-portraits. It was raw, intense, and so beautifully weird. I was a bit of a goth at the time, so obviously it was like, yes, this is the one. Francis Bacon is still one of my biggest influences. Him, graffiti, black metal and techno gig posters. I used to rip them off lampposts and tape them to my bedroom wall and ceiling. That chaotic visual energy stayed with me. Music is a big part of my life. I choose art, but music is definitely my mistress. Black metal and techno are my go-tos. Loud, distorted, euphoric. It's all in there. You can feel it in my work if you know what to look for. Now, I wanted to study in Lisbon, but at the time, I didn't have the guts to leave my tiny town alone. I'd never traveled solo. The idea of just going off was terrifying, so I ended up staying closer to home and studying visual art at the University of the Algarve in Faro. Honestly, it worked out. It gave me the space to mess around, figure things out, make some really weird sculptures. After uni, the economy in Portugal tanked, so I left. I came to the UK. One of the first things I noticed was just how green everything was. The trees looked like they've been photoshopped. I couldn't stop drawing them. And the more I drew, the more I started abstracting them. That still creeps into my work today. Then I went down a rabbit hole, started watching these bonker documentaries called 2012 A New Beginning. I completely melted my brain. And then Neil deGrasse Tyson showed up talking about space folding on itself and consciousness being like soup, cosmic soup, and I thought, right, yeah, that's exactly how I feel. A lot of what I make now is me trying to express that feeling of being connected to everything and nothing all at once, being curious, confused, and I'm okay with it. Being an artist isn't easy. If it was, everyone would do it. It's like the survival of the most persistent weirdos. You've got to be a bit delusional to keep going. But for me, it's essential. It's how I make sense of the world. It's my reason to get out of bed. If I could talk to my younger self, I would give her not much advice. She had to figure out the way she did. But I might say, it's going to be really cool, and I'm going to have a studio and weird paint mixes. So it's all going to work out pretty fine. These days, I'm always experimenting. Paint, mixed with baking soda, sand, car paint, metallic, wall paint, whatever works. Once used bodily fluids in one of my sculptures in uni. Let's say the reaction was memorable. But I'm not here to be polite. I'm here to find new textures, new ways of expressing weird ideas. Best reaction I've ever got? I told my secondary school art teacher I wanted to be an architect. She looked at me dead in the eye and said, "You're no architect, you're an artist." I love that woman, Professor Stella Freire. She saw it before I did, and not just in me, lots of her students went to become artists. She just had that eye. If there is one thing I hope people take away from my work is curiosity about who we are, why we're here, and what even all of this means. I don't claim to have answers, but honestly, I think questions are more interesting anyway. And hey, while you're here, I've got a show coming on the 20th of November to the 3rd of December at Gallery 19A in Hollingbury, Brighton. The private view is on the 21st from 6 to 8 p.m. Come along, drink, look at some art, ask weird questions, or just come for the vibes. You're welcome.